Another team that has a receiver that I didn't buy into fully this offseason. I'm still not fully bought in, but a lot of people are. A lot of people like this young lad, Ladd McConkey. We've heard he looks like Steve Smith out there. He plays the same type of way. Had a really good game last week, and obviously,
Mhm.
the main thing here is that we're seeing Justin Herbert look a little healthier than he was to
Mhm.
start the year. But a true breakout game for Ladd McConkey last week, who had a long touchdown, 2 touchdowns last week, had his first 100-yard game of the season. Are you fully buying in that Ladd is like at wide receiver 3 territory? Because to me, it felt like a good game, more so than like I can fully trust Ladd in my starting lineup.
Yeah, I like Ladd a lot. Ladd's been a guy that's been in my videos for a while now as a buy low candidate, just because everything's been there where I'm a big believer in target share. So if you're seeing targets, you're earning targets at a high rate, you're a good football player, and that's what he's been doing all season long. And like you said, Justin Herbert has not looked healthy, and we know who Justin Herbert is. Justin Herbert's a stud. This is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He can sling the rock. And the other problem too is kind of this offense has been they've wanted to run the football, and I think problem is that it's a new offense. They don't have a whole lot of very good wide receivers. But I do think Ladd's a good wide receiver. I think he's starting to prove that. And I think that down the stretch, once again, rookie wide receivers break out. And I think this is the beginning of a breakout. Do I think he's going to finish as a wide receiver 1 down the stretch? Probably not. But I do think that he could potentially finish as a wide receiver 2. So if I could get him for wide receiver 3 numbers, absolutely. I
Wide
would be doing that.
receiver too, Ladd McConkey. There's no way. No
He
way
just had
possible.
a 30-point week. What are you talking about? No way.
I get that he had a 30-point week, but that was also an outlier. Like
He's
then you had
playing
Quentin
with an
Johnson.
elite quarterback, and he's the number 1 target on his team, and he's earning targets at a high rate.
So you have him in like DJ Moore and Marv territory, because that's what we're talking about, like wide receiver twos. That's the kind
I
of
would say
level we're
back. I
talking
would
about.
say, well, I think that DJ Moore and Marv are more like mid. I would say it's more back end. So I would say that's kind of like Jalen Waddle-esque range. Yes, I would say he's
See,
right
that's
there.
a little high for me, because I think that this offense is predicated on the run. We've known that, like obviously the Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh era. We know that this is predicated on the run. They also were missing like Quentin Johnson, who earlier in the year was commanding probably 5 to 6 targets a game. So I could
Yeah.
see that coming back. But the thing is, we saw for the first time like really Justin Herbert stretch that thing downfield for Ladd McConkey. What was it, 60-yard, 50-yard reception? I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how many yards
I
it was,
don't know.
but
Yeah.
I think that kind of inflates the numbers a little bit, and it makes it a 30-point game in essence. But like, that's not the player who Ladd McConkey is, and I think this is one of those. This is one of those times where the numbers look at us and we're like, okay, like I look at this as a sell high opportunity, and I think that
Mhm.
Ladd is a
I'd
player
buy
that I'd
high.
be looking to move like
I
instantly.
would. I would buy high if you offer me. So you're saying wide receiver 3? You just said Keenan Allen's a wide receiver 3. You'd rather have Keenan Allen over Ladd?
Yeah,
I don't
I'd
even.
rather have Keenan over Ladd.
What?
I'd rather have
All
Keenan
right,
over Ladd.
if I'm in any leagues
I'd rather
with
have
you
Keenan
and you
over.
send me that, that's an auto accept
I
for
will send
Ladd.
you that shit in an instant.
Oh hell yeah, give me Ladd. I really do. I think
Would you rather have Tank Dell or Ladd?
I'd rather have Tank. I think Tank will be very good down the stretch. Like
Would you rather
last night was
have
very encouraging.
Chris Olave or Ladd?
Chris Olave.
We got Chris Olave.
It's
Brian
close though.
Thomas or Ladd?
I've Brian Thomas. I think is a high end wide receiver too.
All right,
Brian
bet.
Thomas is way up there.
What about Zay Flowers? Rather have Zay
I'd rather
Flowers
have
or Ladd?
Ladd.
Ladd?
I think the DJ
Damn.
really hurts Zay Flowers a lot. Honestly,
Yeah, Ladd is
I'll
up
say
there for me.
guys like I really think that McConkey's right there with like once again I say Jalen Waddle. I'd rather have I think he's close to DJ Moore just because I trust I trust Justin Herbert more than I trust Caleb right now, and there's not mouths to feed in that offense. Where I think that Ladd down the stretch can earn more targets because I think he's the best wide receiver in that offense.
I
Those
just think Ladd's had a couple good games. Honestly,
I think
I think
this
he's
is the
had a couple of
start.
good games.
This is the start of it. And like we said, Justin Herbert was it week 1 that he had that or week 2 he had that high ankle sprain. That was
It was
very
like week
early in
two.
the
Yeah, it
season.
was like week two.
So he just has not been right. And I think this now he's starting to look the part. Ladd will get going. So I have faith there.
I think it was a good game for him. I think Quentin Johnston comes back to this offense and we see
What
him
about
use
JMO? Him or JMO?
JMO easy.
Oh, Ladd easy.
I just think you deal with the up and down with JMO, but it's the same type of ups. It's way
JMO
better
is who we
upside.
thought he was. He
No,
is who we thought he was.
Who?
And that's an ass wide receiver.
That's a what wide receiver?
Ass. Bum.
I think
Certified
I'd see
bum.
J-Mo's up there. I'd rather have J-Mo than Ladd. Ladd, I mean, what's Ladd done? Outside of like, what, a 30-point game last week? What has Ladd really done all season long? He hasn't done shit.
Herbert's been hurt in this offense. I think this is the beginning of things. Right. In fantasy football, you got to go with the intuition,
I gotta
right?
send you some more trades, bro. That's
Intuition, this is the beginning of it. Him and Tank Dell, woo, they're going to finish strong, baby. Finish strong. Tank Dell's a stud.
What about Quentin Johnson? Because this was a player who, on his team, you know, you shaking your head, but on this team, he was looking the part early on and had, you know, he had a couple games with touchdowns. And you know, he was playing more snaps than Ladd early on. He dealt with the injury, the ankle injury. So I don't know if he's on. I think he's on track to play. I don't know if he actually sees the field this week. But I think he's on track to play this week.
I thought he was returning.
I think they're going to alternate weeks where they look the part. And I don't think you agree with me at all with that. But I can see Quentin Johnson having like nice flex appeal as the season goes on.
No, I mean, maybe the problem with Quinn Johnson is one game on the season over 40 or over 50 receiving yards. He was just catching touchdowns. So I like personally, I don't. Yeah, he's going to play this week.
How many games does Ladd have over 50 yards?
Let's see.
What, 1, 2?
I don't even know.
Probably very similar to Quinn Johnson.
Can't even see. Hold on.
I know he's got one in the bag with last week, but
yeah, he's got 2.
2? Okay. So he's got 2. Quinn Johnson got 1.
But he has 100 yards. That's the beginning.
Yeah, he does got a 100-yard game.
I think with QJ, like the problem is with QJ, and honestly, I didn't even really like Ladd that much, to be honest with you. But I did not like QJ at all coming out of the pre-draft process. Season? Well, just in drafts, I did. Like I'm saying, rookie drafts, like, and that's kind of what I always revert to with these younger wide receivers. I did not like QJ whatsoever. I mean, you had guys. Steve Smith did not like QJ whatsoever. A lot of guys did not, and I just think
he hates on big receivers.
Well, and QJ's just kind of QJ's just not like, I don't know. He's not the kind of guy that he has a lot of, I don't know. But anyways, he just doesn't earn targets at a high rate. I don't have a whole lot of faith. No, I think Ladd will be the #1 target going forward.
I think he's the #1 target. I just think there's going to be weeks where they alternate, and it kind of reminds me of like a Keenan Allen and DJ Moore type relationship at a much lesser scale,
Yeah.
But where one guy might see some looks one game, another sees looks the other game.